The Shared Use Mobility Center is a public interest organization with a vision to make it possible for everybody to get to work and get everywhere they need to go without having to own their own car.
So far at this conference, what I found most interesting is that I came here thinking that I knew all about ride sharing, car sharing, bike sharing, all of those things since I've been involved with it for probably close to 20 years. And as a surprise to myself even, I've discovered that I have learned tons.
There's a big moment for the public and private sides to kind of partner with each other in ways that may be unconventional and might be uncomfortable on both sides, but we have to if we're going to reach our very lofty goals in terms of climate change, resiliency, sustainability, public health, equity, economic development, mobility, safety. So this is the moment, and this is a huge opportunity for us to learn from each other and also to see great ideas that we might not even know are out there.
People are actively engaging at the highest levels on these issues. Mayors, heads of DOTs, and traditionally they sort of push this stuff down. And so it's become so important to a city and how it moves and how it works that it can't be ignored. And I think that's a good thing.
I think it's clear that bike sharing and the other things that we're talking about in this conference now have the potential to revolutionize our transportation industry.
I think the whole idea that there are more options for people to live wherever they might want to live is pretty exciting. Currently, it seems like these options are more focused on cities, and they're still more focused on people who have disposable income. And I think things will change. I think it'll expand in terms of the markets, in terms of who uses the services and how they use them. And I think it gives people more choices, and I think that's a great thing.
We really wanted to bring together the industry, government, community groups, nonprofits to elevate the conversation about shared mobility and figure out how to connect it with transit, how to scale it, how to make it beneficial for all different populations and different geographies and different types of communities.
Yeah, I think a really interesting issue right now in shared mobility is how it integrates with transit and how it can play a role complementing transit use instead of competing with transit use. So I think we're seeing some really interesting trends in bike share and car share, and even TNCs providing a first and last mile connection to transit. So I think something that we're interested in working on more is promoting those connections and making sure it's not a competitor with transit.
Most people will prefer to access a menu of mobility options to meet their needs. And that's going to be much more important to people than the status of owning a car or any other mobility device. It's really going to be about, can this service pick me up and drop me off, or can I utilize this service and get from point A to point B?
The subjects that are talked about, sharing mobility, and I'm really interested in the interface, the connection between publicly funded transit and private transit. And since there are so many new shared transportation opportunities out there, the more we can talk together and figure out how we can bring all of the different transportation options together for everybody, the better off society will be.
This is really difficult stuff because we're talking about changing and disrupting the systems that we have in cities. And how do you disrupt them, the transit system, the taxi system, but not hurt them? In fact, we want to expand transit, we want to improve land use, we want to improve mobility for everyone.
The summit has been fantastic. I haven't been to another place, a confab conference or summit, with as many transportation leaders in one place as the Shared Mobility Summit. So it's been a really nice diversity of people and panels as well.
There's so much happening on shared use mobility, on disruptions and how people move around cities. This is really, I think, a place to come to find out a little bit of a look around the corner, a peek into the future about what's coming for cities in the next 10, 20 years, which is it's just so important.
like me, you think you know it all, come to a SUMSIT conference and you'll discover there is so much more to learn.